Let's bring in our guy, Animarak, our UFC expert in the house, representing Phoenix, Arizona, by way of Minnesota. Big Vikings fan in the house. Football season has arrived, but we're not talking football right now, Animarak. We're talking UFC MMA. How you doing on this Thursday evening?
Doing great, Jimmy. Thanks as always for having me. And I know we're all excited about football. Don't worry, I am too. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I was on the sports keg and partying a little too hard. Farsha Sami says, Jimmy, don't do it if you feel uncomfortable. The reason why I feel uncomfortable with that Lions play is because I haven't seen anyone else make it. All I've seen is bombers. So Muhammad Joma backing that Lions play. And Lamont Williams saying, do you like Atlanta, New York Mets full game under 9.5? Lamont, I don't, because I can't trust either bullpen, but I am on the first 5 under 5.5 because I think that Stroman and Teheran are going to put on a show. Let's get to work. Brandon Lugo will lead us up by saying this is a good UFC card. And America, where are we? Set the stage.
We are headed to the Grizzly Bear State. We're headed over to California, Sacramento, California to be exact, the city of trees, where it snows roughly once every 10 years. And it's a good thing that marijuana has been legalized over there, because our boy Nate Diaz came out to the open workouts today with a joint probably about this big, took a couple of big solid puffs on it, and then gave it out for the fans to try out. So things are getting crazy.
I saw that. I did see that, and I liked it. I liked it. Well, let's get to work. I'm going to pull up the SBR Sportsbook Review odds page here. Let's get to fighting. We're going to go to UFC, and let's get it rolling. We're going to start off with Brandon Davis versus Kyung Ho Gong. Kyung Ho Gong opened up at minus 175, now at minus 185. A 10-cent move towards him. Davis, Gong. Who you have here?
We are starting the night off with a big, juicy underdog, Jimmy. I love Davis in this spot. So Davis has had a bit of a rough patch since he got into the UFC. He's only 2-3, but he has shown me the things I need to see to be able to back him in this kind of a spot. Kyung Ho is known for being the bigger, stronger dude out there. Davis is bigger and stronger than he is. Davis actually has like a 56% takedown defense rate, which doesn't sound overly impressive. Two guys that he's fought in the cage, Zabit Magomedov and Enrique Barzola, two of the biggest wrestlers in the division, completely crushed his stat. If you remove those two fighters from the equation, he's got an impeccable takedown defense rating, and I think he's going to be able to defend the takedown here from Kyung because that's his game plan. And then Davis is going to put it on him. He looks like he's in crazy good shape based off of his Instagram. The dude's striking comes from all angles out of nowhere. I just think he's going to get it done, and the line is way too wide.
There we go. We're starting with a banger. We're starting with the dog, Brandon Davis, at +1. It's going up. Wow, it's going because Bookmaker has a +148, Bet Online +160, Pinnacle at +166, Bet365 at +170 right now for Brandon Davis. Let's move on to our next bout here. Let's go. Oh, man, this is a good-looking card. Here we go. We have the Pettis fight, right? We got the Pettis and we got the Ian Heinisch. So Derek Brunson against Ian Heinisch. And Brunson opening up at +170. A huge move towards Derek Brunson and America. Opening at +170, now at +128. Wow, a 42-cent move towards Derek Brunson. How are you handling this fight?
So this card is absolutely stacked, Jimmy. If there was going to be one you told your friend, hey, come on over, let's get some pizza and watch some fights, this is the one. So I actually got in a little bit of trouble with that line move. I laid the wood with Ian Heinisch, and I would suggest you do the same, especially now that that line has gotten shorter. We are going to fade that line movement. Derek Brunson is relatively washed up. He's always been a high-caliber wrestler, but he threw that out the window a couple years ago in favor of his striking. He figured out that he was fast, explosive, and he could catch people and put them away. Ever since that happened, he's been a 50-50 fighter, because if you can outstrike him, if you can avoid that big bomb, he's got no chin. Now, Ian, his nickname is the Hurricane. We've bet on this guy twice already on the show and been successful both times. He gives up the first round, and then once his opponent slows down, he pours it on them, and he fights just like a hurricane. You can't stop the guy. His forward pressure is relentless. So if Brunson comes out here and thinks he's going to wrestle this guy, Ain't going to happen. If Brunson comes out and thinks he's going to clip this guy and put him down, that ain't going to happen either. I think Heinisch defends the takedown, keeps this thing standing. Round 2, round 3 TKO, or a decision win. He could do it either way. I'm going to lay the wood. I like Ian.
We got Heinisch and Animarak not afraid to go against a big market move. Well, let's talk about the man Nate Diaz smoking his blunt. Nate Diaz, Anthony Pettis, man. It's been a while since we've seen Pettis in the ring. In the octagon, I should say. Man, it's going to be exciting to see him. Pettis opening up. So this fight opened up as a pick'em, and money started coming in on Pettis. We have a 22-cent move towards Anthony Pettis, and Nate Diaz, blunt hanging out of his mouth, is now a plus 112. Animarak, what's your move here?
So I am with the line move on this one, Jimmy. I am going to be all over Pettis in this spot. Now, first off, don't get me wrong, low baggers. I'm a fan of the Diaz brothers. I love the guy. I love the way he fights, and I'm not underestimating him. I know just how good this guy is. The problem with Nate Diaz, and Nick Diaz for that matter, is their fight IQ. They come into this thing with thug mentality. They want to stand in the middle of the cage and slap you and hit you and don't move. It's a gunfight. Whoever falls down first loses. That's how they fight. Pettis ain't going to play that game. He's going to circle. He's got amazing kicks. We've all seen the Showtime kick where he comes off the cage and knocks out Ben Henderson. He'll put his leg kicks to good work, which will chop down a guy like Diaz. And at 170, this fight is happening up a weight class, by the way. Pettis is looking phenomenal. He's got muscle on him. Somehow he's more explosive and he's got more knockout power than he ever had before. He's going to move around and frustrate Diaz, and if Diaz doesn't get him out of there, he's losing a decision. There's also a very good possibility that a guy like Pettis lands a head kick at some point or a body kick that's hard enough to put Nate away. With this being a pick'em, I think Nate's in trouble. If this line gets too much wider, I'd say to stay off of it, but I think right about now is the time to jump on Pettis.
Pettis. Backing Pettis. And now another big boy battle here. We got Miocic against Daniel Cormier. Cormier opening at minus 140. There's been a 4-cent move away from him, away from Daniel Cormier. How are you handling this fight?
Well, on this one, I think it's a rematch, and I'm going to go with the guy that won it last time. I'm rolling with DC. In my opinion, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. The only person he's ever lost to was John Jones, and there are questions surrounding that circumstance. He absolutely crushed Stipe the last time they fought. Stipe's done nothing for the last year but sit and stew on it. He hasn't gone out and showed us anything differently, whereas Daniel Cormier has gone out and he beat another guy in that meantime. I don't think this fight has changed a lot. Neither guy has evolved. Neither guy has changed. And the only thing is they're about 1 year older apiece. I'm not sure what Stipe brings to the table. I don't see where he wins. Daniel's got better hands. Daniel's got better wrestling. The only difference is that Stipe's got the height and reach advantage, and that didn't bug DC the last time they fought either. I'm going to roll with the favorite one more time. I like DC.
Backing DC right now. DC. I like that look. I mean, you're the expert. I'm very amateur with this stuff, but man, DC he's a champ, man. All right, and as always, Animarak, you have put a parlay together for us. Break it down.
I got another fun little parlay. This is another one of those ones where I'm squeezing some value out of these lines here. We've got Sadiq Youssef, who is just way too big of a favorite. I love this kid. He's 9-1. He's got a really bright future. I think he's better than his opponent anywhere the fight goes. Plain and simple. I think he's just the better fighter. But he's about minus 270. I don't want to lay that kind of wood on it. And honestly, I don't know that he's going to get it done inside the distance. So I'm not going to go with a prop bet. We're going to tie him up with Drakkar Klose. Now, Drakkar Klose was about minus 200 when I put the parlay together. I think you're actually going to get a better number on that at this point. He just moved from the MMA lab over to Fight Ready. Now, Fight Ready is where the champion Henry Cejudo trains out of, and they are doing some phenomenal next-level stuff when it comes to strength and conditioning, and I've been following it very closely. He's got a 70% takedown defense rate, and his opponent must get the takedown in order to win. He's got a real herky-jerky style, and then he mixes in takedowns to score rounds. That ain't going to work here. Klose is going to walk him down, chop him down, and then put his fast, crisp hands to work and make his opponent stand with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he TKOs him. That's the parlay. You're going to get just better than even money on it. Let's make a quick, easy unit.
There it is. Parlay plus 105. Youssef Klose. I like it. Animarak, our guy. Animarak, is on Brandon Davis plus 150, Heinisch minus 175, Pettis minus 118, Cormier minus 145, and a plus 105 parlay with Youssef and close. Animarak, tell us where we can find you on Twitter, both your personal account and the Die Hard MMA podcast account, and tell us a bit about that podcast.
You can find me on my personal account at Maximus in 3D, where I get into all kind of nerdy stuff. I'll talk video games, Marvel, movies, whatever you want to do over there. If you want just my MMA content, at Die Hard MMA Pod, rocking the shirt today.
Nice.
The podcast has been going since about January. I get an episode out, at least one every single week. We are up over 30 units after last week, going 5-1 on the picks that I gave out. So we're rolling on the Die Hard MMA podcast. Come hang out. It's a good time.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. There is our guy, Animarak. Thank you so much for joining us. Love having you on these Thursdays. Thanks so much, my guy.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Jimmy. I love coming on. Everybody, have a great weekend. Good luck, and leche.
I love it. I love it.